Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is our bro back review of Avatar, and I'm your host, the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, joined by our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli, and the mad scientist. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Says hi.
We said you could be on, but you couldn't talk.
Hi is talking?
Get one word. And our mad scientist Brian Banner to review this, as we do all of our movie reviews, using the 5 Bro 4 Squad criteria, which is the acting, the story, our favorite scene, the impact of the movie, and its rewatchability. Before we get into this, Banner, we'll go to you first. I just think it's important context for people to have before we dive into these reviews. What is each of our relationship with the Avatar franchise, so they can understand any inherent biases we have, because we want to lay all the cards out on the table. So, Brian, what is your thoughts on I guess it's a franchise now, the Avatar franchise in particular?
I think, and where are we at, personally?
Do you hate it, love it? Are you going to tattoo
the
Navi on your asshole?
Well, that I've already
in
done.
Papyrus.
I have a very hate-love relationship with it.
He hates that he loves it.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cycli, I know you and James
That's all
Cameron,
you're going to say.
That's good. That's good, a little tease. Cycli, I know you and James Cameron dated a little bit in college. What are your thoughts on the Avatar franchise?
Well, he did paint me like one of his French girls.
You kind of fucked that up, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a big James Cameron fan. I think I appreciate that he does these movies that he knows are going to make a lot of money, so it funds his private, adventure, nerd. Like he got to do Titanic, so he could go down to the Titanic, things like that. And so yeah, I respect the game. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to reach a mass audience. But my relationship with the movie is, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. Nothing great, nothing horrible. Don't understand how it made $3 billion, but hey, who am I?
Yeah, with James Cameron, I respect the greatness. He knows more about film than I ever will. I don't think this is even in his top 5 movies.
Oh no.
It's just the appeal just misses me. Having said that, there's a lot of really good things here, which let's talk about that now. Beginning with the acting and cast. Cycli, we will go to you first. We think about the cast and the performances in Avatar.
So looking back now, it's been what, 20? No, not 20 years, but 18, 17 years approaching 6. I don't know, somewhere around there. I remember when it came out, Sam Worthington was, maybe going to be a little bigger. He has been in something since then, but he had done Terminator at the same time. Sorry, Terminator Salvation. Thought he was fine, but he was kind of, I think a lot of the roles he had done were very typical, soldier-esque films. I think he does good in this movie in the sense of he plays the soldier who starts getting a little bit of an opinion and nerve and starts asking questions and lets the world come to him. But nothing I really remember too well. And is it Zoe Saldana?
Mm-hmm.
Again, she does a good job, but it's also kind of hard because of the
motion capture stuff. Yeah.
Motion capture, right? So it kind of feels like a little bit of animation and computer and so it's hard to say that she does a good job. But Michelle Rodriguez plays the typical Michelle Rodriguez that you see in
it. Might as well say
role.
Michelle Rodriguez as herself in the.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen her in any other. She was in a few episodes of Lost. Exactly the same. She was just this angry cop. She does good at what she does. We love her in the Fast and Furious movies and things like that. But again, a lot. That's just the 3 biggest names. I think I'll mention. I just don't think anything was over the moon on this movie on the acting side, but it was fine. I didn't think anything was bad either.
Yeah, I will say this: it shows you. I'm gonna have to shit on Sam Worthington for a second. He gets cast as the lead in Avatar, the highest-grossing movie and then movie franchise of all time, and it still doesn't catapult him to leading man status. That's kind of hard to do if you think about it. You have to be really uncharismatic because everything in the universe and in Hollywood is pushing you to get those types of roles. To your point, Cycly, Zoe Saldana gives a good performance in this, but it's really a detriment the way that the motion capture is set up, because the Navi's faces, I think it's because they don't have a nose, it hides a ton of their emotion. If you think about like the way Ruffalo portrays Hulk, like it actually picks up like all of his like minute facial movements, but the Navi don't have a lot of that because the way their face is set up. I think the ancillary cast in this is really bad. I think Giovanna Ribisi is like laughably bad. Joel David Moore, who's the guy from Grandma's Boy, like what the fuck is he doing in this film? But I will say this, Sigourney Weaver is transcendent in this movie as Grace. Thank God she's in it. She is acting her fucking ass off. And I'm gonna get to this in best scene, but she actually gets like the emotional crescendo in the whole movie. To me, she's almost like a 1.5 star bump in my rating of this film because of how good she is. And I just love her in general. Everyone else is pretty much ass, or is like Stephen Lang, great actor. My God, is this character like a cardboard caricature of I mean soldier general guy? Like Jesus
he
Christ,
does that well though. He's done that before.
I know, but like James Cameron, dude, you've written
Yeah.
like the shit that he says in this movie. I'm like, we get it, bro. You're a fucking soldier. You don't have to mention it every single time you go take a shit. Banner, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. The acting overall, if you just combine it into one big ball, it was fine. I agree with what you said. Worthington has zero charisma.
It's almost impressive.
Zero charisma. I think the highs are high and the lows are low in this. Again, like you said, Sigourney Weaver, she deserves a fucking Oscar for what she did to this movie. And we'll get it. I mean, this is a little bit more, I guess, story and plot, but her arc is really the only one that is kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Banner, I'll let you go first, but that teases us into story plot if no one else has anything else to say about cast. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, story plot. This is
sorry, let me read the real quick synopsis from IMDb. A paraplegic Marine dispatched to the moon Pandora on a unique mission becomes torn between following his orders and protecting the world he feels is his home. Pretty much what Cycly summarized a second ago.
This is a very simple story that they tried to make really complicated. That's how you can put it. This is, again, Cowboys versus Indians.
Pocahontas on a different planet.
Yep. We've seen it. This strength is not the story in this movie. Again, Sigourney Weaver's arc is the only one that's kind of interesting. And we'll get in, I guess that would kind of be impact, and what the implications in future movies have on her character. But other than that, I mean, the acting wasn't good enough to make the stories compelling.
Yeah. Cycly, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The story itself is something that is successful over time. I mean, it's like why we like certain rom-coms, or like, I mean, even Star Wars, for instance, like they're not doing anything inherently new, but they do it in a way that makes it feel fresh, gives us the specific characters that we forget that the plot is kind of a repeat plot, and that's fine because that's just how stories are told over time, right? Like there's movies like, obviously there was the 80s Dune, but the books itself, like this is very much Dune, or what's The Last Samurai, right? With like Tom Cruise, having his orders and then learning from the samurai and all of a sudden realizing that he's sympathetic to the samurai over his own cause, right? Like, yeah, we've seen the story before, and again, I think that's part of why this movie was successful, because it is an arc that like people can enjoy and relate to, and like have that little bit of growth the main character has. But again, at the end of the day, I don't think that's what this movie was made for. I don't think it's as genuine as some of the aforementioned things I just talked about. I think it was just kind of like using the story as an excuse to show off modern technology in a way that really made it shine. And again, it's not a bad story. It's something that works, but just they didn't give us enough outside of like the Navi and like, the the cool visuals and attaching with their earth and their animals and all that sort of thing.
And I'll add real quick, this was about an hour too long of a movie. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and we could have told the same story in an hour and 45 minutes. Sorry, go ahead, Horns.
No, you're good. I mean, Cycly, I think, has a really good point. This is like chicken noodle soup to moviegoers, right? It's like it's comfortable. It plays a lot of archetypes that are in a lot of different stories, but that's because they're very successful and they're relatable and it's easy to connect to. I texted you guys as I was like an hour and a half into this thing that I didn't think it had an original idea in its body, but I have to retract that. I was a little bit too harsh on it because, to Cycly's point at the end, the third act, especially when it mainly focuses on like Na'vi culture and like the ways of the different tribes interacting, I actually was getting kind of into it. And now that I think about the Avatar concept, like the fact that these people are able to basically like transmit their consciousness into this other avatar, that is kind of a unique idea in the like Pocahontas fish out of water type story. And I do like the way that resolves itself, not as like predictable as you would think. So it's very archetypal, like everything in it you've seen 4 or 5 times in other stories. But I do think at the end, and this is where, to Cycly's point, James Cameron, like, this is a passion of his, like the Na'vi people and like underwater stuff, which we obviously get more in the sequel. But that's where he like has I could just see him having like a fucking psychopath, like notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of like drawings and illustrations he's made of these people. And he brings it to a studio and he's like, do you have like a script you're not using that we can just fucking throw all this shit in? Because I got all these ideas of like creatures and stuff that I think are really interesting in this culture of the Na'vi. We just need to put it in a movie that makes sense. And I think it gets stronger as the film goes on, as it gets more. Honestly, the human characters are so fucking lame in this that when they're
so one-dimensional.
They're so they almost play like parody characters, really, like Stephen Lang especially, and then, like you said, bless her heart, Michelle Rodriguez, who's like just we get it.
Michelle Rodriguez,
right? You're a badass.
He's angry, guys.
Exactly, and just like so many one-liners. Like I could see there's a day on set where she's like, "Do you have any actual like dialogue I can say that like people say to each other, or is it all just like, sorry, Jake," or like, "Woo, that was a close one," like just like all this shit in the cockpit of the helicopter that I can just picture her day from like 8 to noon is just saying utterly insane things.
She's Falco in Star Fox, is what you're saying.
Oh my god!
Gee, I've been saved by Fox. How swell!
And Joel David Moore is definitely Peppy because all he ever does like, Jake, don't do that. Peppy, shut the fuck up. I'm doing a barrel roll. God damn it. All right, on to best scene. I'm going to go first and steal with this before anyone else takes it. It's, like I said, the emotional crescendo of the movie, even though I don't fully understand like the science behind it, but it's when Grace, Sigourney Weaver's character, has been injured in a battle, and her human body has been, and they take her to the Na'vi to see if they can basically like pray to their god and transmit her consciousness permanently into the avatar body to save her. Visually, it looked amazing. Like Cycly mentioned this earlier, but like the glowing like aquamarine colors that happen in the forest during this ritual are insane. I was like really bought in and nervous at this point because Grace is the one character that I actually really gave a shit about. And I got to give James Cameron credit. This scene does not. I mean, spoilers. Obviously, it's 2009. You're listening to a review of this. Does not have a happy ending. Grace does not live through the ceremony. So you keep thinking like, oh, it's going to work out because it's movies, but it does not. And it has a very powerful emotional impact on the next like 30 minutes of the movie and Jake Sully in particular. So I thought that was the scene where I was like, all right, this movie, that was its like Kobe's 81 point game moment. Like it really, really hit its stride right there. Cycly, how about you?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't exactly say I can't remember like exactly what led up to this, but it was when the Na'vi are starting to trust Sam Worthington's character a little more, and he's been training and learning their ways, and then when he's finally tested, and I don't remember the name of the creatures, but when he's finally able to fly and speak and connect with those characters, and like I said, it's been a long time, but I remember again, and I'll get to this more in Impact, but this is what made this film, in my opinion, such a big cult like phenomenon, right? Like the visuals of this film, the feeling in the theater, the newness that like people got when they were there. It was just like one of those like you have to experience this movie in theaters, right? Like I love watching movies at home, but there's some movies you have to watch in theaters. And like Avatar 2, I watched part of it at home. I couldn't get past it. I'm like, I think I texted you, Jeff. It's like I either go watch this in theater or I don't watch it at all. And that's how I feel about this scene. Like to truly feel the impact of that scene and its meaningness to like him and to the Na'vi and the growth that he's happening at that moment in the movie and just how you feel as a viewer seeing it. Yeah, that stands out 16 years later for sure to me. So yeah, the flying scene, whatever you want to call it.
And it's the same emotional connection I get when I shop for a used car. Everyone I come into.
Well, I was going to make a very bad sexual joke. I was like, you need to stop putting parts of your body into the used car to connect to it.
That's not the problem. Okay. That's not the problem is I get too stuck on wanting them to throw in the
You get
formats.
stuck, that's for sure.
Yes. Banner, what's your best scene?
All right, so I can't believe that this is my best scene, but it kind of piggybacks off of what Cycly was just saying. And what made this movie was the visuals, and that this is the first real 3D movie, right? And we'll get that more into that in Impact. But
because everything before was like those shitty like blue and red
right
glasses.
Or
right?
you had to go to the fucking IMAX and get a fucking migraine because you're looking
at the space movies, like they were like 20 minutes long.
Right. But it's actually the sex scene when Zoe Saldana's character and Sam Worthington's character mate for life under the prayer tree, and there's these little like floating dandelion things that float everywhere. I remember, again, like you said, this is a movie you have to see in theaters. I remember sitting in the movie watching this and going, holy shit, these things are around me. Not like, oh, I'm reaching out towards them like you always would, you know, in like the 3D underwater fish ones that you would go to on a field trip in third grade. But the visuals of this, the colors, the way that the bioluminescence kind of glows and breathes with everything, the what the avatars are doing or what the Na'vi are doing is super fucking weird. But it's what's going on in the background that I always remember, and it just sticks in my head.
Yeah, the more that like you get into that world, you are kind of like Jake Sully at first. You're like, all right, fucking weirdos, and then you're like, okay, but what is this again? Tell me more. Tell me more. Like, did he have a car? All right, this one. I mean, I don't think there's any denying how you feel here. Impact. Banner, I'll let you go first since you're the Avatar head.
Yeah, so this is in my top 100, and it's solely because of the theater experience, as I've alluded to. But this was the first real 3D movie, at least the first that I can ever remember. And that is huge. I think James Cameron, he got caught. He was trying to do all these crazy things, and he took way too fucking long, and technology surpassed what he was doing with the second movie.
We'll have to look up the dates, but Cycly also came out in the same year, changed the game in terms of 3D and just great storytelling. My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Oh, of course.
In 2000.
James Cameron saw that and was inspired.
He was like, I mean, I can't pull that off, but I want to try to do something relatively close. Cycly, impact for you for Avatar.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because this is one of the top grossing films of all time, and for the longest time was the top grossing film. I think until like they re-released it to get it back up to like the 3 billion mark or something like that.
Endgame is doing the same in next September.
Yeah, they'll keep doing it. It's funny because I thought when it came out it did have a big impact. I mean, clearly we'd be, as much as some of us don't like the movie, we'd be idiots to say it didn't have any impact. I mean, you can't have the greatest grossing film ever not have any impact. It definitely inspired a lot of that 3D phenomenon we got. Almost every movie was pumping out at least 3D versions that you could go to. All of a sudden, people were buying 3D TVs at home.
God, that was
like there. I mean, obviously, it didn't last forever, but I think like the Avatar really jump started that fad. I mean, maybe for the next 5-6 years, around 2015, 2016, it was a thing to get like a 3D TV. And again, even in some of those Harry Potter movies had 3D versions you could go see. So the impact was absolutely, I think, more on 3D. Now that we're 16 years past the movie, and the third one, I'm probably a good timing here that we're doing the Avatar bro back, but that Fire and Ash is coming out this week. I didn't really finish the second one, but it did just as well. So who am I again to say it's not having as much of an impact? It's one of those things that like I feel like I don't know anyone who's seeing these movies, yet it's making billions of dollars. So I'm just in the bubble, I guess, and the world out there is really enjoying it. So there's an impact to be had. We'll see how good Fire and Ash does, but overall, I think the biggest impact was changing the way Hollywood looked at visual side of movies in the new age, in the more modern era than like a lot of Star Wars in the 70s to 80s.
Yep. I mean, I still think Avatar is like a money laundering scheme, and there's no way that like that many people are actually going to see them. It's missed me, but there is no denying that this changed, like you said, changed cinema. And the 3D thing, probably for the worst. Like everyone was like, let's try and get a little bit of that 3D cash. If for nothing else, it ups the price of tickets. So you inherently have to sell less to make more money. But I think technology-wise, James Cameron's always done this. He's basically pushing the boundaries, and rising tides raise all ships. So when he is putting out films of this quality, because I finished it today, and it looks just as good, if not better, than a lot of the stuff we get now, 16 years later. And you guys know, in the movie industry and the effects industry, 16 years is like
it's an eternity.
It's like the time between the Industrial Revolution and now, basically, the way things advance. So for it to look that good, and for him to do motion capture, it had been done before. But in this, like, there are entire scenes where there's like hundreds of actors, if you include extras, and every single one of them is mocap. So, like, there's no way to, like, he's not using it as a gimmick, and he's certainly not using it for like one guy in a scene with like 12 other human actors. Like, it is basically, I would say the majority of the movie is done through motion capture. So that technology alone obviously has been a huge game changer in use in Hollywood. Again, I don't get like what about this makes it like the highest grossing movie at the time of all time in the billions of dollars, and then the sequel doing the same thing. But I respect it. It's like the opponent where you're like, I don't like you, but you're damn good at what you do, and I tip my cap to you. All right, last one, rewatchability, or really just anything else that you didn't get to talk about in these other categories. Brian, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, I rewatch this probably once every 5 years, 4 or 5 years maybe. I did watch it recently because I did watch the second one, and I wanted to refresh myself with this one. Again, the second one is way too entirely long, and it's kind of the same fucking story. So we'll see. I will say this new one looks a little bit more compelling. There might be a little bit more meat on the bone here, but I shouldn't have to watch 5 hours of Avatar to get that.
How many is James Cameron making total?
He said he wants to do 5.
Like,
this has to be the last
like
one.
they will end up having 5, right? Or
yeah. Like 3 is about to come out, and he wants to do 2 more after.
How does he not get sick of this? I don't understand. It's so much time and like a portion of his life, and it just doesn't feel like he's doing anything different each time.
Seems like a waste of his talent. Like, he's capable of doing much better.
I think I don't think he's getting all this money to do all the things he wants and explore the world. Like, he was exploring the Mariner's Trench. Like, he's just doing shit. Like, I think maybe movie making was not his passion, and it's just like adventure.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good at it, so I'm gonna do it as a job.
He had been around for a long time. I mean, I think he paid his dues. If you look at his career, some of the greatest movies he did were before 2000.
I mean, he's made 2 sequels better than iconic originals, Terminator 2 and then Alien 2.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking hard to do. Cycling rewatchability.
Once, let alone twice.
Titanic too.
Yeah.
The Rise of Cal.
Cycling rewatchability.
So again, it's weird because I don't think I've watched this film since flying on a 16-hour flight to Thailand. And I was like, what's a movie that's going to kill time? Avatar.
Yep.
I think I probably watched like Titanic, Avatar, like Lord of the Rings movies, and that's how I survived that flight. But I still say I didn't hate it. I'm not against rewatching it. I just don't have that motivation. I need a reason to rewatch it more so than anything. Anytime you have a movie that's 3+ hours, it's like, well, what am I getting out of it? It's not offering me anything new. And for the story, there are better movies out there with a similar story. So if I'm going to watch a movie that long, I'll probably watch Dune or something like that. So now like I said, I did start the second one and I just couldn't get through it. Not because it was so bad. It was just like, I just had no investment in it. I don't have investment in the story. And that's what hurts the rewatchability. Visually, if someone had it on, I don't think I would complain. But I just don't see a scenario where I'm choosing that path myself.
Yeah, I mean, I went back to revisit it because with the new one coming out, I was like, all right, I feel like I haven't given this franchise a fair shake. And after rewatching it, I rarely do this when I rewatch a movie, but afterwards I was like, you know what? My original take on this, I think, is still my current take 15+ years later, because I don't think I'd seen it since it actually came out. So again, I respect this as a franchise. This is not the type of movie, just purely based on length, that you can go back and revisit. But I will say this, if someone had like a sick home theater setup, this would be a film that I would be like, dude, let's test out like the speakers and the visuals of your laser projector with it.
Underrated score for the movie as well.
The score's okay.
Yeah.
Score's okay. Stronger points with the like Navi Hallelujah Mountains than any other point. Like at the end, the battle scene felt a little derivative. But also we've had some incredible scores the past few years, so maybe I'm like reverse thinking that this ripped them off. It's kind of hard to piece it together.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, all right. Any last thoughts on Avatar before we let the people go? Boehner, we'll go to you first.
No, I mean, I think that this movie ultimately falls into the middle of the pack. It is fine movie, especially as a movie you're going to watch at home now. If you do get the opportunity to see it in theaters, I would recommend it. But past that, this is a theater experience movie through and through. Definition of it.
I hope they're not sick enough, they being like theater chains, to try and do a double feature of Avatar and then The Way of Water.
Well, they will.
That'd be insane. People are nuts.
It started at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and you would get done till like 2 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Ew. Cycly, closing thoughts on Avatar.
I mean this. I'm not saying these are horrible movies, but I just don't know anyone who's watching these, and I don't know anyone who's going to see Fire and Ash. I have a good group of friends who watch movies, and no one's been like, can't wait for that to come out. You guys want to go next week? Like, so if you are listening to this and you actually like these movies, please let us know so that we don't think it's a money laundering scam, like Hornacek said, because it's just crazy that I don't know anyone seeing the movies that supposedly everyone is seeing.
And when I say that, like, we're in the movie circles. Like,
yeah,
people go see, the people we talk to love movies. So everyone is like, at best, apathetic about this. Like, you talk about superhero fatigue. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, what is Avatar, Fire and Ash doing that we, number one, haven't seen in a film or haven't seen in the Avatar franchise in the last 5 years now? Like, visually, we're desensitized to it. That's why the Jurassic Park movies have all failed. Because, like, in the films, in real life, like, seeing a dinosaur isn't cool anymore. It's kind of how we are with blue people. All right, for the mad scientist Brian Boehner and our legal counsel Ronnie Cycli, I am your local Navi chief, Jeff Hornacek. We're the Bro4 Squad podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. Find us on all of our socials at Bro4 Squad and type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find your podcast, you will find us and our website, bro4squad.com. Till next time, Cycli, if you buy this Yukta Dragon, I will throw in the floor mats and this Navi air freshener.
Deal.
I didn't even give you a price.
Does it glow in the dark?
Relax.
I'll have 3.
Fortunate.